Think Again TV is produced by Centre for Inquiry, Canada's premier venue for secular humanists, atheists, skeptics, and free thinkers.
When you visit a doctor, you expect to be treated by an expert professional who knows the latest medicines, the latest treatments, the latest diagnoses, who's had years of training in medicine. It's because you don't know yourself what's wrong with you. You don't know how to treat it. That's why you're going to see an expert. That's why in every country, doctors are highly regulated, along with other professions like lawyers and architects, where you really rely on the expertise of the person you're seeing. And so there are rules about who can see a doctor, who can set themselves up as a doctor, who can set themselves up as a lawyer, an architect, and so on, and who can call themselves a doctor. In Ontario, we have the Regulated Health Professionals Act, which lists the kinds of people who can call themselves a doctor. You must have an MD and be registered with the College of Physicians and Surgeons, or a dentist, or another variety of doctor who has years of medical training to allow them to practice. Unfortunately, in Ontario, the government has seen fit to allow chiropractors and naturopaths to also call themselves doctors. But they drew the line at homeopaths. When homeopaths asked to be allowed to call themselves homeopathic doctor, they were told no, which is a pretty good idea since homeopathy is far more ridiculous a theory than any of the naturopaths can come up with. Giving sugar pills to treat anything from colds to cancer. Homeopathy should not be allowed the designation of a doctor. Homeopaths don't have the years of training to know how to treat somebody. Okay? That's why when the Committee for the Advancement of Scientific Skepticism was researching homeopathy, and we discovered not just one or two, but dozens of homeopaths in Ontario on their websites referring to themselves as doctor or homeopathic doctor, or using the abbreviation DR in their title. We knew there was a problem. They're not allowed to do that. It's illegal to call yourself a doctor unless you have an MD or one of these other designations. So we took the legal step of filing a complaint with the Ministry of Health to stop these people from calling themselves doctor. It's illegal. There can be a fine of $25,000 for somebody who calls themselves a doctor in Ontario when they're not allowed to. This is a public health issue. If you go to a doctor, somebody who calls themselves a doctor, and they give you a sugar pill to treat your early stage cancer, then by the time you know that it's not working, it may be too late to treat that cancer. When you go to a real doctor, they'll say, well, I could have treated you, but too late. That's what happens when somebody steals, really, the designation doctor, which carries a great reputation, and people assume that those people know what they're talking about. That's why it's a big issue. That's why CAS, Centre for Inquiry, are really pushing to prevent this, what is essentially a fraud, from continuing in Ontario. If you think this is a good idea and want to join us in using the tools at our disposal to shut down these quacks and charlatans and alternative practitioners who are illegally using these titles, illegally making claims that they're not allowed to make, you too can file a complaint with the Ministry of Health under that Act, or file a complaint under the Advertising Standards Act for people who are making false or unproven claims about their products. These are all ways in which we can act together.
Think Again TV is produced by Centre for Inquiry, Canada's premier venue for secular humanists, atheists, skeptics, and free thinkers.
CFI Canada coordinates branches and campus groups across the country, runs a public education series, provides secular community services, incorporates cutting-edge multimedia such as blogs, podcasts, and YouTube, and is a regular voice in the press presenting a secular humanist, atheist, and skeptical perspective.